Jenny Sparks, issue 6, Tom King writing with Jeff Spokes on the art. So this is so wild. So we had issues of this doing the housing crisis and the crash. We had the last issue, which you weren't here for, which was the the election in 2016, and then this issue is COVID, and it's a bold thing to do. I definitely said last issue that I was feeling a little bit weird with just how like exactly this is just real world things it's referencing constantly. Yeah,
I mean, she is the spirit of the 21st century, right?
No, she's the spirit of the 20th century.
Right, but I feel like we're starting to get to the point where by the end of this, she's going to represent the 21st century, because that's all the themes that King's using her to discuss, right?
I don't think it's going to end with her being this representing the 21st century.
No?
I think I disagree with that statement.
Okay. Because that's what I'm picking up on here. The fact that the fact that we're going through COVID, and the fact that we just, I know that it was coming up on 5 years ago. God damn.
5 years now, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually
like it was yesterday.
And it was like February, so it'll be 5 years exactly next month.
Yeah. So like, it made me definitely feel like, I don't want to say icky, because it's not like icky, but I was reading this like, so that's what we're doing. We're going from the election now to the pandemic. Cool, I guess. That said, I do like the discussion between Jenny and Captain Atom about what makes a god, and her leaning into the narcissism of him, and giving him kind of what he wants, but is that what he wants? There's always like moving goalpost kind of deals. So I thought that was at least interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not that it's a bad issue. It's just, like, I think I said this last time that I would prefer that some of this stuff was a bit more subtext than just, here's actually bringing up the election, here's actually bringing up COVID, and sort of doing stuff directly with that. I mean, yeah, the conversation between Jenny and Captain Atom, where she's like, look, I'm here to finally say you're a god, let's just get this over with. But then she starts to sort of mock him with it and kind of pokes at him and whatever. But all the stuff with Jenny, like in the flashbacks, being mad at Superman for not fixing COVID, just felt really weird to me.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, I mean, I get that this is maybe not necessarily in continuity, and that's fine, but the idea that, COVID happened in the DC universe just feels kind of weird. And having, like all these panels of Superman wearing a face mask, and I don't know, it all feels a bit strange.
I like Superman's reasoning for it, because that was the reasoning we're all having. Is it's not about you, it's about people that...
Sure, that's fine.
Right. Which, again, lines up with Superman. And her being upset about it lines up with the kind of more cynical side of things. But like you said, I wish it was a little bit more subtext than on the nose.
Yeah, the problem is that it's like just sort of bringing these things up so directly. It starts to just feel a little bit weirdly preachy. And this is coming from a place where I am probably on the same side as Tom King with his opinions on a lot of these things and the politics of it. I'm pretty sure I agree with them on the vast majority of the things that he is bringing up and referencing. It's just a little bit weird to just have the characters directly reference it. And it's because, as we've been going through the book, it's been getting closer and closer to, like, recent things that I remember and lived through. And there was a lot of hot discussion about it. Like I say, just 4 or 5 years ago. It does feel a little bit weird to just have it brought up and talked about in this way.
And I don't know if this is just me, but I like the idea that stuff doesn't happen like it does in the DC universe because of the superheroes, right? Like, you have the Atom, right? And you feel like you just feel like supervillains are constantly introducing a new strain of something, yet it's the Justice League's job to prevent that, right? Like, so you have characters like the Atom that can shrink down and go personally attack it and come up with a cure or whatever. So having something as mundane as the pandemic affect Superman and Jenny and all of this stuff, I don't know, it feels off. Like, just the mundanity. And maybe that's the point for Tom King. Like, he's trying to inject that into the DC universe. This is how they would have reacted to it. But I don't necessarily know if I want to read that.
Yeah, it's just a strange move. The stuff with, like, Jenny and Captain Atom, where she basically starts like saying, well, okay, what's next then? You're a god now, so what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. That's a bit weird for someone omniscient,
Omniscient.
omniscient, thank you,
Mhm.
to say. And he's like, oh yeah, that's my fault for expecting a god to make a coherent point. And that's when he gets mad and sort of like smashes the glass in her hand. It cuts her hand, and then he tries to heal her afterwards, and she's like, piss it off. And it's kind of like, progressing from there. And she goes into this idea of him, like, this desire to be a god because like nothing else he'd done before was good enough, right? And it's like it's almost like becoming a god. He doesn't have to deal with the actual pain that he feels from the decisions that were made in the past that led to his life being the way it was. Instead of actually dealing with his pain, he's just rising up to become something bigger than everything else because it means he doesn't have to. I think the phrasing she uses at one point is, by saying that you're like have to concern yourself with everything, it means you don't have to actually address anything specific. I thought that was interesting. And he gets very upset when he loses tic-tac-toe as well. Might we add?
So he is not as godlike, right? He doesn't have that, and it's just like, just because you have a lot of power, just because you have a lot of pain, it doesn't give you dominion over everything. You know,
he doesn't have answers for everything. He doesn't know everything.
But yeah, I like that because I was saying at work, like when everything's an emergency, nothing's an emergency, right? If everything's on the same level, then what are we doing? And that's kind of where he's trying to treat all these power that I have the most power, therefore I should rule over everything. And I'm a benevolent God, and I saved this man. And she points out, like, no, you prevented him from seeing his wife. That's not, you didn't even ask if that's what he wanted. So I do like all those moral questions here at there. I just wish the framing of the pandemic and stuff were handled differently. Bit more nuance on King's part, which we know he's capable of.
Yeah, for sure. We see her getting her vaccination shot. We see her, observing like protocols when she's getting food delivered, and sort of thanks and says that, the food delivery people are heroes, and it just all felt a little bit weirdly just too specific, and like we're just talking about the pandemic now. Anyway, the issue ends with he teleports the man that he cured back and says that he fixed it. And then when she says, "Did you?" and he says, "Have a look," she opens the door and he seems to have erased reality outside the bar. There's nothing there. It's just white. Or maybe he's transported the bar somewhere into nothingness.
Right.
Regardless, though, that's your big bold thing. Because isn't the next issue last?
Yes.
Yeah, issue 7's the last one.
7.
I do like. I mean, obviously we're going to finish it, right? We're not going to drop it with one issue left. But it's definitely the most conflicted I've felt about any of King's books in a long time.
Because it started with a hot start. We were really into it.
Yeah, issue 1 was great. Issue 1 was such a well done issue.
And I just feel like it's been diminishing returns since.
Yeah.
And again, it's very wordy, which we tend to get with King. But when you're feeling like it's got diminishing returns, like I saved this for last, right? And it was just one of those things that was just, all right, I got to get through it because I know it's going to be a lot. But yeah, I do like she says at the end, she says, every god I meet plays effing tricks on me. Divinity School must be a barrel of effing laughs. And I just like that here, that she has, again, by the end of this, she's completely disregarded him.
Yeah.
So, and that's where he shows what he can do, right? And whatever this white is, right? The nothingness, that's his last laugh here. So again, storytelling is still on point in places. I just wish it carried throughout.
I just think conceptually there's just a bit of a misstep here, right? I don't know if what he just wanted to do with this book quite clicks in the way that I think most of his books do.
Yeah, because it seems like the fans of The Authority and Jenny Sparks aren't happy, and it feels like people like us aren't that happy. So at the end of the day, who's this book for?
Yeah, and I'm sure the people who complain about things being woke absolutely despise it as well for their own stupid reasons. So,
but we don't take their opinion at all. Like, it's
no, but what I'm saying is, though, is that there's like no groups. I don't think. That, I mean, that's not to say that I'm sure there's some people who do like it, but like it feels broadly speaking that every group is unsatisfied.
Yeah.
at this
Well,
point.
maybe that's the greater, the greater message on this, and in terms of media and everything. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here because I expect more from King. Because I tend to like his stuff more than I don't, but this is starting to edge towards the not that I don't like it because it's not bad, but is this going to be something that we go back to, like we when we're talking about New Gods, we bringing up Mr. Miracle, there's stuff on there that still land. Here, I don't know if we'll talk about this in years to come like we do his other projects.
Oh no, I mean I agree with that sentiment, but I do think you phrased that like, he has good and he has bad. I'm like, I think he mostly has amazing. Like
Yeah.
I think if you look at his DC work, like at this point he is like hitting, 8 times out of 10 he's given us something amazing or special to read, and then we have this, we have like the tail end of his Batman run, and we have Heroes in Crisis as the examples of. What
was that last one? I don't remember that one.
Heroes, don't worry about it, Matt. Don't you worry your poor head.
Definitely didn't involve Wally West doing things that I regret.
No, we definitely don't remember that.
Nope.
So yeah, but I don't think this is nowhere near Heroes in Crisis, and it's not anywhere near like the worst parts of his Batman run. It's still very competent, and it's still got lots of little good storytelling bits and good art and all the other things. But compared to like, Human Target, Mr. Miracle, Strange Adventures, Rorschach, all these like, Danger Street, and currently Black Canary's been really good after a couple issues. So, it's fine. He can have a slight misfire every few books. I'm not going to be mad at that. So. Anyway, what are you giving Jerry Sparks issue 6?
I'm gonna give this a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. Like, I still think it's good. It's just, I'm just not clicking with it in the way that I wish I was.
I saw the pandemic stuff and I got annoyed, and not for any reason. It just was like, God, don't remind me of that. That time sucked.
Yeah, maybe it's too soon. It's too soon for us. And I think the election one also hurt because it's obviously been repeated. So it's like,
maybe when he wrote that, he thought things were gonna go elsewhere.
Yeah, maybe he thought, there's no way they'll do it again.
Wild card.